Hi everybody, I'm Hugo. Today we are going to make Mason 280 battery DIY ourselves. As you can see in front of me, this is all the kits and tools we need to make the batteries. As you can see, I dismantled a whole battery. The battery was borrowed from an engineer. He was doing experiment, he was doing beta test on the battery, and I borrowed it. I promised him I will, when I give it back to him, it will be complete just as before. But actually when I borrowed it here, I dismantled the battery into pieces just like this. So let's cut it short. Get to the main scene. How to make the Mason 280 ourselves. So where I was dismantling the battery, I found out I was kind of short of the epoxy insulation board. So I leave the board to the box. Didn't dismantle them totally. And also the same problem, shortage problem. I leave the board to the batteries, as you can see here. And another reason I didn't replace to purchase the new board from the market is because I think it's quite simple. You can actually find this kind of videos, this kind of tutoring videos on the internet, anywhere. So I just leave them be. But there are also some points you need to know. It's concerning about the screws. When you're attaching the hasp and the conceal handle, when you are also attaching the screws to the box. Actually, we are using this is M4, I guess, and this is M5 screws, and we are setting the torque of the screwdriver as 5 to the hasp and 3 to the conceal handle. So after attaching the hasp and the conceal handle to the box and also the insulation board to the box, next step is to put the batteries to the box. As you can see, here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 times 2, that's 16 batteries into the box pack. And we've got this, it's quite heavy. This heavy battery cell. We got EVA4 on one side, this side. And when you are putting the batteries, you need to notice that the electrode of the battery. This is the negative electrode, and this is the positive. And first of all, we need to put this battery cell to the box, and you need to mind the order. So we put it this way. And this is the negative electrode. This is the positive electrode. And then the next one. This is also the battery cell with one side attaching EVA4. This side we are attaching the EVA4, but this side is bare. There's barely nothing, and then we put the battery attaching to the first battery cell, and the next one is the same EVA4, and then barely nothing on this side. Put it in just like this. And the last one, for this one, we need to attach EVA foam on this side. Also, in this side, we got EVA foam. And also we got the epoxy insulation board. So we put it in. And the last one. And for the next side, another side. In exact order from the first cell, that's this from the first one, they're the same. So when you are putting the batteries, when you are certain, you are sure about one side, then the another side just copy the mode. The same, but on this side, EVA foam on this side. There's a lot of work. So we're finishing putting all the battery to the cell pack, and now step 1 complete. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screw holes. And this is the screw we're going to use. This is a Phillips hex screw set. But you don't want to thread all the screws at once, like really tight. You just put them with your bare hands maybe. Find the right position. Don't use the electric screwdriver yet. Find the right position. Okay, now all the screws are in the right position. We're gonna use our electric screwdriver to thread them really tight. We usually set the torque of the electric screwdriver to 7. Now it's already at 7. Okay. Okay, so when you hear the sound thud, you just hear that. It means it's already good. So next one. Okay, same as this one. So after attaching the front plate to the box, next one we need to attach the top plate to the cell batteries. And so before you attach the top plate to the battery, don't forget to apply the EVA foam to the top plate. Just like this one, we got EVA foam. The EVA foam is for protection. So when you're using the battery, there is no leakage from the battery. Okay, it's already attached to the top plate, but when you receive the product, you need to do it yourself. Also, it's because of the shortage problem. Okay, so we need to put the top plate to the battery cells. There are two of them. This one also. Don't forget the EVA foam. Okay, so now we're going to screw the screw holes. We use an electric screwdriver. But at first we don't want to thread them really tight. You just find the right position. And then we set the torque index of the electric screwdriver to maybe 5 or 6. We're going to use 5. And then we just lock the screw until we hear the sound. Da, 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 just like this. Next step, we're going to put the aluminum bus bar to connect the cell batteries, but before that we need to put the gasket to every electrode. The gasket is to make sure that we have the maximum contact area between the electrode and the aluminum bus bar. So we need to put them to the electrode one by one. Okay, so except for these two, we all put all the electrode I put with the gasket, and then we can finally put the aluminum bus bar. So we start from here, and then it goes like this. And still, leave these two be. We don't put aluminum bus bar to these two. So this part is finished.
I'll connect the PCB board with the battery module and fix the board with the module with screws. First of all, I need to put the PCB board in position and stuck the copper ring terminals to the electrodes. I don't want to mess around in this step, so I definitely need to get them right. After connecting the PCB board with the module, I should fix the board in and hope it doesn't fiddle around in the box when moving it. When fixing with the screws, I should put the screws in the corresponding screw holes and prefix all the screws. After that, we use the electric screwdriver to tighten them in a fixed torque level of 4. So when the copper bus bar are fixed with the electric screwdriver, we still need to tighten them with a spanner of a constant torque of 6. We double tighten the screws to ensure that they are fixed properly. Now I am fixing the display screen to the front plate. Like what we do before, we prefix the screws in the right position, set the torque of the electric screwdriver, and then use it to tighten the screws.
Okay, now we're gonna attach the BMS to the front face plate. This is the BMS. So, as you also can see, this is a purple material. This is quite special material. It's for heat dissipation, and the dissipation is for this part of the BMS. So, as you can see, you can read off from the plate. So when you are putting the material, you need to find the right position. More or less, just as the same position as this part when you are putting the BMS to the plate. So it's already put here, as you can see. And then we put the BMS to the plate. Align them by the screw holes. There were 6 screw holes, and then we're going to put the screw to the hole. As before, you don't have to screw them really tight. You just find them in the right position and put them a little bit. Screw them a little bit. One by one. I like putting it as diagonal direction. Then we need to screw them tight. For the electric screwdriver, you need to set a torque index as like 1.5 to 2 Newton meter, most fine. I'm going to set it as 2. It's already 2 here. And now we're going to screw them tight. You screw them, you make sure you hear the sound, da 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 da. It means it's okay, it's done. And the next one. Same for the rest. Okay, so this part is finished. So the next part is to assemble the bus bar. This is the copper bus bar to the BMS. Okay. So this time we need to use the screw with 2 of this gasket. Put it through. Put it through. Still at first, we don't need to screw them really tight. We just put them in the right position. In the right position. And this one, that's the first one. We put 2 of this gasket. Get it through. And then for these 3 holes and these 3 holes, they're using different screws. We're gonna use this kind of screw, and then we don't need gasket. Put in the right position. Then we use the electric screwdriver and set the torque index to 7 Newton meter and screw them tight. And for this 6, I'm gonna use an electric screwdriver and set the torque index as 7 Newton meters. Okay. And now we're going to assemble the fuse base. This is the fuse base. Okay, so now we set the torque of the electric screwdriver to 7. That's 7. Okay, and then we connect the fuse base with the copper bus bar. First, we put this to gasket, and then put this one, the fuse. This in, and this goes through another 2 gasket, another 2, and the hexagonal nut. With our bare hands, and then we use our torque also as 7, the torque index number as 7. So next we're gonna parallel these 2 positive electrode. As you can see, this is orange. They're labeled, they're marked in the color of orange. So it means they are positive electrode, and there are 2 another poles. These 2 electrode poles, they are marked black, and they're negative electrode. So now we're gonna parallel them with the copper bus bar. And do the rest of the work with our electric screwdriver, setting the torque index as 7. And then one by one. Okay, so next we're gonna put the wire between the display screen and the BMS. This is for the communication wire. So we're gonna put it here. Make sure that they're firm so they don't get loose. And then we get another 2 wire, the 2 wire harness between the BMS and the batteries. So it's quite distinguishable to find a connection point. This is the part with this little pouch. So we put it here. Just stick it in. and then the white one. Okay, make sure they don't get loose easily. To attach to the padlocks. Now before we connect the copper bars with the electrode, we need to fix the front plate to the padlocks. So this is the screw we're going to use. As before, first of all, we need to find the right position. It's kind of heavy, so I think I'm gonna need the electric screwdriver at first. So put it up, find the right hole, align them together. You don't need to screw them tight at first. That's afterward. Okay, and then we set the electric screwdriver's torque index to 6 this time, and so after that we can finally attach the copper bar to the negative and the positive electrode of the battery. Remember we leave these two electrodes at first place. Now we can connect them. But before that, we've got to connect the wire harness. We've got two of them unused, so I'm gonna find them out at first. So for the shorter, there were two wire harness. For the shorter, we're going to connect it with this. Put it through, make it firm like this. Then put it just like the first one. Okay, so, and then finally you got to connect the two copper bus bar. Usually we connect the bus bar with the negative electrode at first, and then we get the positive one. So we put the string out and put the copper bus bar, and then put it back in, and then we use this nut to tighten the connection point. Same goes this side. And we use a screwdriver set to maybe 6, the top 6. And strengthen it. So now we are almost finished assembling the battery, but there are a few points you need to remember. When you are assembling the battery, you need to, after all the assembling, nearly, you need to check if the copper bus bar, when you twitch them a little bit, you need to see them if they are firm, because as you know, this is a big battery and the current is really great. So when you are using the battery, and if the copper bus bar is like a little bit loose, then the temperature may goes up and the battery, I don't know, maybe lifespan will be shortened. So I'm suggesting you to check them maybe twice or 3 times, as many as possible. And also the aluminum bus bar, you need to make sure that the electrode pole of the battery cells, they have the maximum contact area with the aluminum bus bar. So for the same reason, to prevent the temperature rising too fast and the lifespan may be shortened of the battery. Okay, so in our chat, Okay, they're all good to me. Now I'm going to almost finish assembling the battery by covering the cover to the battery pack box. Okay, put them in the right position, and then we use the screw that we used before. As before, we put them in the right position. With our screwdriver, we don't need to screw them, we don't need to thread the screw really tight first, just to make sure that they're in the right position. And now we set the electric screwdriver torque index number to 4. So we can put this to the display screen. And now we finish assembling the whole battery pack. But we also, last but not least, we need to test if we really have it finished by turning on the battery. So how do we do the test? We just turn on the battery